We're back online. Good. Every club will be recognized. It's going to take a little time to get to everyone because we can only do two a month, but we'll get to everyone. And we want to formally recognize all the clubs for what they give to our community. It's an extremely important thing what they do for us. So that'll be on beginning next week. Um, let's move on to the financial update. Before you go, I have some new stuff on. What's that? I want to go over some new stuff. All right, I'll bring it down on the old business. Hold on. Okay. Um, I have the item 8 financial update. Kathy, you have any new information on the order update and financial reports?
The audit continues. We are expecting, I have no different information than the last time. We are expecting the audits to be completed by September. They are working on 2022 and 2023 at the same time. And their explanation was they found it easier to work across 12 months rather than complete 1 year and then start another year. We've not gotten any questions or concerns as of yet. Nothing has come up. We're very happy with how it is proceeding. We've spoken with the auditors several times to see how they're doing, but everything seems to be on target and no major problems at this point. Nothing that they have brought to our attention. On the financial reports, we are completed with April actuals. We are waiting for First Service they have a lot to upload. So they will be uploading the financials hopefully by the end of this month. If it does get a little bit delayed, maybe till July 15th. But I think everything will be available on your new portal when it gets uploaded. And that's it for finance.
Okay, thank you. Um, let's go on to old business. We have the merger update. I don't know what everyone is aware of, but there was a subcommittee that was put together as a part of both boards, Greenbrier and the Lowell Board, and they've been meeting to discuss the final document that will be presented to the community in regards to the merging, and they're going to be rolling out a plan how they plan on showcasing the document and giving the residents of our community the information they need to make a decision on how they feel they should vote on this. We are going to actually have another meeting tomorrow morning on this. Will be to try to finalize what the subcommittee has done. Both boards will formally meet tomorrow and hope to come to a resolution on that tomorrow. So hopefully sooner than later, this will be completed and the documents will be put together and there'll be scheduled meetings here in the ballroom so you can come down and learn what it's all about and you could make your decisions based on what you want to do based on the information you get from us and the two boards. Next item, Jay Respler, he has some items that he wants to bring up on the old business.
There's an issue at the security gate. If a visitor is denied entry, the only way giving them entry. So it was suggested by security that we keep a position, there's an opening, a turnaround before you get to the gate. Security would like to have that area kept open so that if a car is refused entry, you could tell them to back up and leave right away. So if the car is refused entry, they would like to have a turnaround open before you get to the security gate. So can we set that up to have that left open?
Matt, on the issue that Jay's bringing up, is there an opportunity that we can perhaps sit down with planned and go over some kind of a matter of trying to address the concerns that Jay is bringing up, and if that's doable or not. I'd like to get their input.
Absolutely, that's not a problem, bringing it up with them. We can set up a meeting with them.
Okay,
I think my concern is gonna be that turnaround gap is right on the other side of the booth. That mean the cars cannot follow each other's, they have to.
That's right, you would
They
have
have
to
to
have
stop way
a stop
behind.
place. There's an opening there, so before you get
I-
to that opening,
I
cars
understand,
would stop
but
there.
that's taking away from the space. Soon they're gonna be blocking, backing up to the road.
Yeah,
So.
that's an
uh,
issue we have to figure out.
I think it should be considered very carefully. You know, we're gonna create more problems than solve.
and I think that's why a meeting is probably in order here, to sit down and look at the logistics of all this, what you're trying to accomplish, and see what works and what doesn't, if it does work at all. I mean, I don't know. But we'll let our management look at that issue with our security and see if it's doable. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Anything else? That was it? Okay. Brings us to the open forum. Um, anyone who would like to come down and say something, please come to the microphone. It may have to be turned on. I think everyone knows the drill. Name and address, and treat one speaker at a time, and try to keep it to one trip up to the microphone.
Think I got it. Marcia Forrest, 11 Whitehall. So I'm one of the probably few people in the community that will not sign up for the portal. I don't have a problem sending my check to Florida every month, but I called the office, I think it was Friday, and to find out when I can expect the statement for July. And I was told they don't know yet, and suggested I call the 800 number. And I did, and I spoke to somebody named Daisy. I woke her up actually, and I asked her when I could expect it. And she said, that's a good question, hold on. And I heard her flipping papers, and she came back, she said, I don't know. I said, okay, so my question is, if I want to get my check in on time, and Matt and I agree, the mail sucks, how can I send it in so that I am not delinquent? If I don't have a statement, when am I going to get the statement?
Okay, those questions, just call the office and ask for me, and I'll help address them a little quicker for you. But they should be getting mailed out next week to you, so you'll get them in plenty of time to mail a payment down to Florida.
They should be mailed next week. So if I don't get it by next week, I will call.
Kill the mailman,
No, I'll kill you because I.
because
you
it's
know-
not my fault.
Yeah, right, sure, and the check is in the mail, thanks.
Speaker, please.
Yes, Wally Reich, 3 Wellfleet. I'm really happy, Kathy, to hear that there was such a great response to the restaurant question. But I think that on that, whatever you want to call it, the survey, I think people have to know that if there is a $10 or $15 charge, they could eat off it. They're not just giving it to the air. People would be able to eat off that $10 or $15 as we always had in the past. So, if anybody calls or asks, it's a very important feature of this whole thing. And I got this thing from the Hamers, their New Jersey Realty. And on there, they use one of the amenities as a restaurant. It goes along with the pool and everything else. So I'm happy that we got such a good response. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Hello, Lisa Catlin from 69D Winthrop. Can you hear? Okay, I guess I have to bend down. I need to know about my fence and getting it repaired. I've put in several work orders. I get nothing. They just get closed. My fence is rotting. It needs to be repaired, and I need to know what I do next because I've got nothing so far.
It's a good question, and we get it quite often. A lot of the fences are in bad shape. We know that. And there's been discussion with the board, how to move forward with this. Um, the discussion that we've had is that every fence is in a different state of condition because they've been replaced over different periods over the years. Yours may be absolutely horrendous and it may need to be entirely replaced. Some might need to be replaced only from the lattice up that help frame that because that's a very soft wood. It's all cedar, and that seems to be in bad shape in a lot of the homes. So we've been discussing to bring in a company that repairs fences to evaluate if it needs to be replaced or fixed. And Matt, have we done anything with that? Where are we?
No, not yet. We had talked about Colin and Pardini to have them look at some of the repairs. So can you give me your address? Because I missed it before.
69D Winthrop. So this has been an issue since I moved in a year and a half ago. So I've been asking the question, I've been putting in work orders, I've been getting nothing except the suggestion that I pay to get it power washed, which I don't agree with because I do believe that's the homeowners association's responsibility.
Yeah, no, a power washing will destroy that fence entirely. It's too strong for that fence.
Okay, well, apparently a lot of people are doing that because their
Well,
fences aren't getting done.
I live in Whittingham. I have a fence, so,
I'm not doing it. but I need to know when mine will be at
Yes.
least addressed.
yes, we are looking at that right now. And we're trying to make a determination how globally the repairs have to be or replacement. So like I'm saying, the fences have been replaced. Every fence wasn't put in at the same time or replaced at the same
Mhm.
time. So everything's in a different state of repair. So we're trying to get a hold on that and get a contractor in here who can do the work. So yes, we're gonna fix your fence. There's no doubt about it. Just a matter of when we can get to it and do it, hopefully sooner than later.
That's my answer, hopefully sooner than later.
Yes, because I don't have a contractor on here yet. I can give you a date. So we're in that process right now of getting a contractor to get it repaired.
So what about power washing in general of the houses? Because there's a lot of green mold on the sides of the houses, including mine and my neighbors. And we haven't had that done in, I guess, many years from what I've heard.
I don't know how many years it's been. 2 years, maybe 3 years, 2 years,
I think we did that 2 years ago, yes.
2 years ago. And generally they do it every 2 to 3 years. So we're probably about due to do it again. But we do
It
do
is, if you look around, there's a lot of green
Yeah.
mold on the places.
Yeah, some homes are worse than others. You're right. That's another thing based on where the sun hits your home.
Okay, so I guess the general concern for me and others is that there's a lot of not maintenance going on and the place is starting to look a little shabby. So I'm hoping that we can get some real answers.
And you're entitled to some real answers. We're in the process of trying to get a contractor in here to fix the fences.
Okay. And then the power washing, we
Power
won't
washing
know.
is a decision, I don't know if we've decided to do it this year. There's also budgetary issues as well. It's not just a matter of wanting to do it, it's to having the money to be able to do it. So I don't know what's in the budget and I don't know if, we've made a decision to do this. Usually they do it earlier in the spring.
I made a note for myself to look into when it was done last and if we have any proposals on file that weren't acted on. So we'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I don't want to get too close. I'd like to underscore and not be repetitive what my neighbor said about the fences and so forth. And also to mention that the fences are very unique and the main reason I bought our unit. So I hope that they're not going to be removed because we're the only one around that has those fenced in yards. And so I just want to put a plug in for that. And the green mold, well, I agree. It's starting to look a little shabby. Um, to that end, when I moved in here 6 years ago already, wow, we were in the house about 3 weeks, and I hadn't gotten the folder of, the welcome folder and all the rules and regulations. Um, and there was a tree outside my kitchen window, a big pine tree, and I put a birdhouse in it. Within 3 weeks, I was informed to take it down because things are not permitted on common ground. And I thought, okay, I get it. I lived many years ago in a community called Hidden Lake. It was at the time a beautiful brick townhome community in North Brunswick. And over time, the rules stopped applying. Stain colors, paint colors, door things, and all the fixtures. And I just was wondering if the rules about encroaching on common property are still in place, or can people do what they want? I understand creativity. I understand personalizing your home. But over time, what will happen is that it will creep and it will become untenable. And there used to be very, very strict rules, remove holiday things within 2 weeks. And essentially that keeps the development look neat, tidy, and somewhat elegant instead of looking a little too disjointed. So I'm wondering, is that still one of the rules?
So I believe there's been no changes that I'm aware of. So whatever's on the books is what's enforced.
And how is this being enforced? Because there's a lot of things that are if you take a ride around, a lot of encroachments that
30 seconds.
Yeah, there's generally a group that goes around, Matt,
okay.
please correct me if I'm wrong, but there's inspections done on that from time to time. And if something's not right, a letter goes out telling the person who
Okay.
put it there to remove it.
Well, I don't want to ruin anyone's creativity, but I know what the signs are if you let things go too long and everybody starts putting out their different things, and also the problems that may interfere with lawn mowing. So if you want to get somebody out there to have a look around.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Diane Vernicus. I've lived here in Greenbrier for 29 years, probably longer than everyone sitting up there. So I'm an original owner and I love the pool. I mean, came here for the recreational amenities. The pool is fabulous. The past week, I've been going and there's been, the speaker is quite loud. The volume is loud. So my request would be, I have two part. One, if you could just discontinue the music and just ask, I think I
Okay.
should be able to finish and then you can hear what I'm going to say.
Yeah, hold on.
My request was, number one, I would love it to go back to the way it used to be, where you'd go, it would be quiet. If you wanted to listen to music, you'd put earbuds, and that's great. The second request would be, if that's not achievable, how about keeping the volume at a certain lower level? The station is something called Ya Ya Rock, which is a lot of hip hop. And I have no objection to hip hop, especially if I was a little younger, but something a little bit more mellow would be more conducive. And so that's my suggestion. The hip hop, I know the young lifeguards love it, but if we could just kind of bring it down a level so it's pleasant and it's agreeable to most people. We're never going to satisfy everybody. My suggestion,
Okay, no,
okay?
good point, duly noted.
Hi, my name is Nadine Waldman, 58 Birmingham. Just to address that, a lot of us love the music and don't want to hear hip hop and rap. Don't want to hear hip hop. you can lower it because what's going to happen is people are going to use their phones and we're going to hear a lot of different radio stations and Bluetooth. So at least having the music, you have one type of music playing. If not, I'll use my phone. Someone else is going to use their phone because we're all in groups there. Anyway, what I did come to ask about is the Prospect Plains gate. If I come in myself, I don't care. When I come in with someone else in my car, it's embarrassing. The gate on the left is almost, it's like this. And half the time it doesn't even work. And this has been a long time already, and the gate by the library hasn't worked the 5 years I live here. We've always been told parts are ordered. Parts do not take 5 years. My next concern was, and this could be total rumor, I'm just asking. I know you're doing tickets eventually July 1. When I moved in 5 years ago, one of my major questions, because I couldn't find anything with the 2-car garage, was can we park in the street overnight? And I know the book says you can't, but we were 100%, as are most of my friends, told yes, you can park in the street overnight. I heard rumor we're not allowed, we'll get ticketed. So I'm just questioning if that's come up.
Go ahead.
The rules say there's no parking in
I-
the street
I know that.
overnight. When Jamie was here, she said that's what the rules are, but they don't enforce it unless there's snow.
Right, and I have no problem with the
So
snow.
that's the
enforcing it.
situation.
Right, I have no problem with the snow. We make sure we move a car either up top or whatever. That's not an issue for me. The issue is I would have held out longer and bought a house with a 2-car garage if I wasn't told. Very specifically, I asked, because I know a lot of developments, they enforce it. We were told, as were quite a few of my friends who told me, bought the 1-car garage because that's the house they liked, and no, they won't enforce that. So I just wanted to know what that is. Because I lived in a development in Marlboro, the streets were so narrow, you just parked on one side of the road, which is also acceptable, you know, but there's got to be some place for people that were told you could park and bought houses with that understanding. It's
Well,
very hard to change it.
That's the way it's being done now. If you want to
Okay,
park, you
30
park, and if it
seconds.
snows, take your car away.
The snow, I'm not having an issue. What I'm saying is on an everyday basis, all summer long. My husband and I leave. Is it okay to park on the street in nice weather? Snow is totally different, and I get the snow. My question is, what about when it's not winter? Is that rule going to be enforced now, which is going to have quite a few of us having to move?
Well, I think what Jay has been saying is that there is a rule on the books.
Right.
And it's been not enforced. And I know there was an episode a few weeks ago where stuff happened. We've corrected that. So it's park your car on the street.
Okay,
We're not enforcing that. Overnight, we're not enforcing it.
that's what I needed to know. Because we bought with that assumption. So that's why I said it was a rumor. I don't know if it's true. But the
Hold on.
snow, everybody understands in the snow,
Hold
and
on.
I'm not questioning
Hold on.
in the snow. I'm questioning
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it's summertime. And
Where is
Alright.
it that you live?
Alright.
Where do you live?
I'm on Birmingham.
There's, we should make you all aware also that there is, because of the episode that happened a few weeks ago, the board has put together a committee. They're looking at all the signage, the rules, how we give tickets. So all that's being reevaluated now. But for now, it's the way it was,
Okay,
unless that changes.
all right, just because a lot of us bought houses that had the 1-car garage,
Okay.
because we were told not, maybe
Yeah,
it'll
something you wanna
stand.
say,
We were
say it.
told the rule is in the book, but it is not followed. You can 100% park on the
As
street.
pointed out, that's really, right now, it's a Greenbrier issue. We can't do
Okay.
anything about that.
No, that's fine. That's why I came up and immediately started that I heard a rumor because I didn't know what was true and what wasn't.
What was the rumor?
So
The rumor was that there will be no parking on the street overnight, no matter what the weather. And that was upsetting.
I'm on the parking
I-
committee. We're going to be talking about it
Okay.
tomorrow, actually,
great.
so I'll go over that again. But we
Thank
can
you
only
very
talk about
much.
Whittingham.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I can put a stop to the rumor for the people that are saying that,
All
that
right.
so
It's a rumor. It's
me-
not true.
I just
Okay,
want to bring
okay.
up 2 points. number one, if someone did tell you that, and I don't know who that may have been, but that was incorrect. They should have said, there is a rule on the book, but it is not being enforced right now. So we do have a committee. That committee will review all these rules, all these violations, and what will stand and what will not stand will be decided by that subcommittee.
Okay, and if I can make a suggestion, if
I
you
just said that.
decide that you don't want parking on the street, maybe limit it to one side. So that people that have the one-car garage don't have to now move. You
Well-
could do only park on the right side is legal and not on the left or vice versa.
I do want to
Yeah,
make
I
a
just said
second
that.
point, though. So this was a Greenbrier issue, and the Greenbrier board should have been noticed about it, and this should have been spoken to them. This is the reason we would like to do a merger.
I agree.
Because had this come up in
I
a
agree.
unified board, we could address it more clearly for you. Right now, we're still in the process of
I
trying
get
to
it. I
figure it
came
out.
up because it was a rumor. I didn't want to spread the rumor.
Okay.
I wanted to know, was there really any truth to this rumor that this July 1, it was happening?
Got it.
So thank
The
you.
rumor is
Wait,
false.
This issue that you're bringing up, and even though this is the lower board, not the Greenbrier board.
Oh.
No, wait,
I still
let
don't
me,
know the
let me, you
difference.
have to go to them at their meeting and ask them.
Okay.
Because even if there is a merger, the rules remain the same for each community, and they have to agree to change them.
Okay.
So
Sorry, I didn't know
one
there was-
board won't matter because Greenbrier has the right to vote on their issues, whether or not we meet as a one board or not. But
Okay.
the point is, there's a member right here, Wayne, on the Greenbrier board. If you, who else is here from Greenbrier board? And Chet. They're the ones you should, I sympathize with, but the rules in Whittingham and WOA are totally different than the rules in Greenbrier. So
Well,
you
I'm
need,
only here 5 years, haven't had an issue, so I didn't know, and I.
okay, so
Thank
go
you.
to, go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Barbara,
Barbara Rackbuck, excuse me, 10C Rutland. I'm very concerned. And I'm concerned because before Jamie left, we had a meeting on insurance. And it was brought to our attention that in order to get insurance, we needed a $100,000 deductible. And that $100,000 would now become part of the responsibility of the residents of this community. There needed to be a proposal and a resolution to the bylaws. It is now June 17th. We don't have a proposal. We don't have any bylaws. And why I am concerned, I know, Karen, you told me that the lawyer's working on it. Why I am concerned is because I heard that there was an occurrence in one of our manor homes in which fire was not detected or smoke was not detected because things were not hooked up. We're talking about an 8-unit building. Had that been a fire, we would have lost 8 units possibly. It would have been a tragedy. And without this proposal, $9,750 would be my liability on it. That's it. So we need
Barb-
to get moving.
Barbara.
Hold on. No, wait, Karen, let me
Okay.
finish, please.
Sure.
Okay? So that's number one. Two, and I sent this to Susie and to the board. When we had JM Security back when I first moved in 2012, every year, every resident was responsible to have their home inspected by JM Security to be sure that fire, police, et cetera, were all up and working. It was mandatory. People were hassled. I was on the board for Whittingham at that time. We made sure that every resident had it done because it was necessary. We then lost JM because the new regime decided that they didn't want them. They brought in their own company, GNC. GNC lasted a year. At the end of the year, I said, are we going to be inspected? We need to be inspected. I checked that out the day they put my installation in. And I was told, yes, we would be inspected every year. Jamie said, well, not everybody's up, so we're going to wait. COVID hit.
GNC went out for whatever reason, and now we're supposedly monitored by another company. I don't know that that other company knows whether or not we're all up and running. All I know is 84 homes a year, 5 years to do it is not sufficient. One manor home goes, we're in deep trouble. One unit went and we were $300,000 in debt. This cannot go on. I am begging this board to hire a company to come in, and by the end of this year, whatever it costs us, it will be cheaper than losing a home, a person, whatever, to go and finish those inspections. I need to know that my neighbor across the street is safe because her home has been inspected. A lot of my neighbors are in their 80s and 90s. They make mistakes. They turn the pot on, they forget they turned the pot on, and now we have a fire. And if there is no smoke alarm, if there's no fire alarm, we're not any good. And I do not believe that our monitor here, Jose, will tell you that every unit is up and running. I'm sorry.
30 seconds.
That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Barbara, I'd
Yeah.
like to address the issues that you raised. We spoke about this, the two of us, at length. I presented this to the board. I told them that we had to get our lawyer to draft a new resolution to make sure that that $100,000 deductible is not going to be challenged. I don't know whether or not Matt has had the ability to do this, but at the last meeting, he said he would call the lawyer and we would get that done. But I agree with you 100%. That must be done. That's, yes.
They're responsible for this building. So it's not just Whittingham. It's 1,600 homes that have to sign off on that resolution.
Okay, I understand that, but I've told them to call our lawyer to get it done. And I'm now reminding them that I mentioned that weeks ago and they were supposed to do it. Okay, the second thing with respect to the inspections. The reason that only 84 houses were done and they said 5 years it was going to take is because the fire department used to come on and do it all. I agree with you. I wish we could get them all done now. The problem is the fire department, we have to pay for it, which is not my issue. I don't care where we find the money, it has to get done. But we can't necessarily get the fire department. It needs the fire department must send an inspector. Jose knows that. You have to be there. They are not available all the time and they refuse to
When they
come.
did my house, there was no fire chief there.
But there is a requirement now
Does it?
that they
No.
do it.
They did it
Okay,
just
okay.
recently,
All right,
and there was no fire chief
okay.
there.
Jose, have you got anything you'd like to add to this conversation in regards to the inspections?
Yeah, I'm not really good at talking, so bear with me. So there's a couple of things. Number one, when JM Security was here, the panels that you guys had were the original panels. Most of you did not have the updated or anything. It was all on the residents to have a phone line for the panel to be able to communicate to Central Station.
Yes, right.
All right, that tests once every month. As long as Central Station got a good signal every month, then everything was fine. Once we came in, or GNC came in to put in the new systems, we added a cellular communicator. This cellular communicator tests to Central Station. It has to receive 3 positive signals within 5 minutes, or else we all get called 24/7. The Central Station that GNC was using is the exact same Central Station we're using today. Nothing changed other than we didn't have to have that third party.
So
Right,
Jose,
so because of that, the state or the township said that we could do a percentage of the homes every year, because instead of waiting once a month to see if your system is okay, we're getting that signal multiple times within 5 minutes, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Now,
300 and
the
some
fire
homes.
the fire that went off in the building, that's a little different. So if that was inspected today, that would pass. That whole thing of your grandfathered in from a code point of view is not necessarily true. If this building was built today, we'd be completely having to close this place down. Codes are meant for when the building is built, not what today's standards are. During that building, and that's one of the only buildings that I've seen this, for some reason, a smoke detector was not put in the common living room, dining room area, but they were put in the bedrooms. So if the smoke would have continued into the bedroom, eventually it would have gone off. Now, we can't do anything about that because up to code, when that building was built, that passed. So if I inspect that every day for the next 10 years, I have to pass that building because of the code that it met at that time.
Are you telling me, Jose, that there is no company that will come in here and inspect our fire alarms and smoke detectors to ensure that we are safe?
They are all inspected from the date of the build, not from today.
I'm talking.
When it changes, there's nothing we could
talking
do. That building
daily-
is up to code.
I'm talking about daily security. I want to know that every day, if I have a fire, if I put something on and I forget about it, that I am going to have an alarm that's going to safely go off.
Every
and
5
get me
minutes,
out.
that system is sending 3 positive signals. If one fails, we all get immediately triggered that there's a problem.
What happened in building
I've-
70?
Excuse me?
What happened in building 70?
Building 70,
Yeah.
the smoke started in the kitchen and it went through the dining room and living room. There's a heat detector in the kitchen, but there is no smoke detector. When the building was built, the code didn't require that area to have
Then
a
we
smoke
need to
detector.
Update, don't we?
No, there's nothing in the code saying you have to
Well, I
update.
bet your insurance
In
company
order-
would love to hear that.
In order,
Thank you.
it's fine, it's up to code, but in order to bring all the systems up to today's code, you have to change 75% of the system, and then you have to bring it up to code. Codes are very touchy because there's not a yes or no. It's always a middle ground. It's a
Okay.
big gray area.
All right, Jose, thank you for that information. We appreciate it. All right, next speaker, please.
Jason Koff. Jason Koff to York Court, Monroe Township. This is for first. At the meeting you had last month, I asked the question about computer security on your part. I was said they would get back to me because I have a problem with computer security due to my business. No one has gotten back to me. So I don't know what your procedures are if you are hacked. I do not know any of your procedures. I do not know whatever. And being in the state of Florida, I question a lot. So if you have an answer about your insurance, about your WISP program, I would really appreciate, especially tell everyone. By the way, I got an email today. All right, that said, disregard the email from yesterday because we didn't send it. So I think you might have been hacked.
No, that's not what the email said, sir.
Well, I didn't go through it quick enough. It just said disregard. So therefore I eliminated.
No, it was not a hack. I actually sent that email out because there was as most of you saw, there was a auto-generated email from the old accounting system Appfolio that was telling people they were overdue on their payments, which is untrue and out of my control. So one of the residents, actually a couple residents brought to our attention. So we sent an email communication that I did personally saying disregard that email. So we were not hacked.
Do you have any answers dealing with your insurance or your WISP policy or dealing with hacking? Or do you have to refer it back and get back to us in 6 months?
Well, it's not going to be 6 months because actually Susie had shared your email with me today to remind me. So I sent it up the corporate ladder because I don't have those answers. That's not my department. So I will get back to you as soon as I have an answer.
Please, because I don't trust anything in the state of Florida. Also, by the way, the CPA firm that says it's better to do an audit 2 years at a time, they're a crock of shit. Thank you.
Yes,
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, please, name and address,
Okay.
please.
So my name is Fran Gunther. I live at 14 Brighton Court. So I have a question. So first of all, I want to thank the board for all their hard work. I might not always agree on your decisions, but I appreciate all the hard work you do, taking on the job. And we all agree that we want our community to be well managed with our properties gaining in value with pleasant lifestyles. So we all agree on that one, right? I also appreciate the hard work of the new people from First Service Residential. You seem to be very caring, skilled, hardworking people, and very patient. So I appreciate that as well. So from my understanding, though, which something that should be stated, which I'm not sure if it's been mentioned and discussed already, but that First Service Corporation is a company on the stock market, and as the FSV, and as companies on the stock market, their first obligation is to their shareholders. So I have no problem with companies making money. I'm invested. I'm pleased when my stock gains in value with higher stock prices and with dividends. So I do hope that First Service is providing services at a discounted cost compared to the previous way we ran it. And therefore, our money is going further. But I wouldn't assume that we are getting the best bang for our buck. So my question is, what is the process by which our board will monitor the costs and effectiveness of this management company? Will we create a system to analyze how our money was spent and services rendered prior to First Service and compare it to the current situation? So, and how will we assess the effectiveness and quality of this management company? They might be great for us. Maybe it's even costing a little bit more money, but we're getting more for our buck, you know? But I think that we have to have a system by which we look at our situation that we're in now.
Okay. Kathy, I think you can answer that question.
I can. The purpose of putting our financials up on the website will address those issues for our residents. We also have, as a community, we have a budget and finance committee. The Budget and Finance Committee is made up of 9 professionals, CPAs, controllers, accountants, every aspect of the financial field. They review, they analyze, they compare to prior years. We've already met, as I've announced before. In our meeting, we presented to them, First Service and I, as treasurer, presented to the Budget and Finance Committee the current projections for the year, which would therefore give you the comparison of what salaries we paid to our employees in the prior year and what the salaries will be current year, because we had a part year where we were paying our employees and then a part year where we are now paying a management company to perform the same work that our employees were doing. With the management company, we have some very clear, precise savings. In 2024, we can only go based on the budget that was prepared for us by our previous controller, our employee. That budget was definitely under budgeted, okay, meaning they did not prepare for a lot of the increases in costs of electricity, gas, and so on, several categories.
Capital improvements.
Capital improvements, well, capital improvements is a separate account, but we're talking our operating budget. So a lot of those savings that we are realizing with only 6 months in 2024 are going to be absorbed by these overruns in the expenses. The bottom line is for 2024, we are still saving, not a lot of money, but we are. In 2025, and of course, another very, very important point, in 2024, we did have some interim costs for the management company. They had to prepare, they had to bring in extra professional staff to transition us over financially and of course in terms of just who was going to provide these services, make sure that they understood our community. So there were these interim costs also. That's 2024. In 2025, when we put out our new budget, and that is typically at the end of the year, for 2025, all our residents will be able to see the savings that this management company has allowed us to have. Now, those savings will be used to fund some of the shortfalls that we have come to realize over the years. For example, our capital reserves are underfunded. We've been saying that, previous board has been saying that. We've been saying that since we've gotten into office. You've heard our controller, prior controller, say that repeatedly. So we will see savings and we will use those savings wisely to take care of our capital needs. It won't fund all our capital needs, but it certainly will alleviate a lot of the difficulties that we are now facing because we are underfunded in those capital funds. I hope that answers your question.
So, thank you, thank you. And I think it's just something that we should just keep watching. And I mean, I'm not going to read all the financial stuff, but that's why we elected you. And hopefully it'll work out, you know, for the better. And but we should keep our eyes open.
Absolutely, that is my job, and I take it very seriously.
No one else behind the curtain that I can see. Oh, I'm sorry. Come on up. Anyone else back there? You're last? Okay. Come on up, please.
Good
Name and-
evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is James Perillo, 59 Howard Road. This morning I went to the nurse's station and I don't know if she's new here. I believe her name is Rosemary. I just want to let you know she was very professional. She greeted me, she identified herself, and I was very comfortable being there. And my next question is, I don't know if you gentlemen or ladies are familiar with the form ADR. I had filled one out about 12 days ago because I was disputing a ticket, but that's not what I'm going to really bring up at the moment. I filled it out. I hand delivered it to management. They told me you got to wait 10 days and you get a response. I waited. I'm sitting home in my kitchen early in the morning, about 10:30, 11 o'clock, having my coffee, my breakfast. The doorbell rings, and then I hear, say to myself, who the hell is that? I ain't expecting anybody. I open the door, and a security standing on my front porch. I was scared to death. I thought something happened. The security guard did not identify himself, did not say good morning, did not even tell me why he was there. Now, I have certain training, okay? As far as I'm concerned, I took what he had in his hand because I wanted to complete the circle, because I needed to find out why this happened. What it was is the second part of the ADR form, which was my date and time to appear for this ticket. The problem I have is I don't think security should be used and pulled off patrol to deliver that to me. I brought it to the management. They should have notified, which I did get an email, by the way, by Susan. I got two of them. The date and time to be there. I already knew that. I told her I will be there. No questions about it. My concern is that you took security off patrol. I felt very hurt and I felt like a criminal, okay? And I finally got the letter, shouldn't say that. I read the letter. Nobody, whoever filled that letter out did not put their name on there. So if I had to contact somebody, if something came up, I couldn't make it that day, or I had to change something, whatever the case might be, I had nobody to go to who filled that form out. So it was the actual form I originally delivered. And when it came back to me, it had my name and address, May 28, 2024 on there. But the person who filled out the date to appear for the ticket, that person's name was not on that paper. Yeah, so that's why I felt very hurt, and I don't think security should be pulled off patrol for something like that. I would have been more than happy to go to management and pick it up or leave it in my mailbox. But security was pulled off patrol, which left other residents' homes in jeopardy, I think. So that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you for bringing it up, what happened to you. I think as far as the form and the process, is that something that the ticket committee is going to be looking at, or the sign committee? I think it's something, that whole entire process should probably be reviewed and how it's handled. And, you know, what information is on that form. I did look at that form. It's a pretty confusing form. So you may want to, you know, rework that, take a look at that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry? Talk to me later. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
I guess I'm last. How about that?
But not least.
Thank you, thank you. Wayne Baruch, 43 Winton's Way. Let's see, homeowner approached me, happens to be a golfer, led me around to the backside of the pool. A homeowner approached me. A homeowner approached me and asked me to take a look at the backside of the pool. Now, of course, I'm a Greenbrier board member, not a WOA board member, but I think we should all own it and bring it to the people who can address it. Anyway, he pointed out that the backside of the pool looks pretty shabby. I know you're on a budget, but just bringing it to your attention. The backside of the pool really needs paint, really needs, it's backside of the pool house. Yep, along the golf court path.
Okay, you mean, all right, the awning that goes across that part over there?
Nope, all along that back wall and all along the pool house,
Okay.
along the back side.
Okay.
Yep. That's easy. Well, it's budget. Okay. Wiring on Winthrop. Somebody brought this to my attention today. That is definitely not according to National Electric Code. Who did that wiring? That's sloppy. That's unsafe.
Which wiring is that?
On Winthrop to some lighting.
Well, there's a number of things that are being
Correct.
done on Winthrop, and one of them, I think, was a carryover from the last vendor that was here.
Well, whoever did that electrical work is not doing it according to code.
They're actually still working on it, Wayne. Danley Electric is doing some repairs back there, and they're not done, and they're correcting a lot of that.
Whoa, I don't know how unsafe it is, but at quick glance in a photo, that's what I was trying to send to you, Matt. Okay, last but not least, I put together a team of safety professionals, law enforcement officers, risk managers who live in the community. And we had a really good meeting with Tom in my place. And I'm wondering, Tom, what is the status of those to-dos?
I've shared what you gave me with Matt, and Matt, and in fairness, as I told you, he was just coming into the position at the time, and I said, give him a little bit of time, because he's overwhelmed, and we re-overwhelmed him with this whole new pay system. So he has a couple of things that he may be able to report to you on it now. But overall, I mean, it's been held back a little bit because of just
Yeah.
current events.
The problem is that a whole bunch of safety issues are getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back for, well, you can't keep kicking the, not you, but
Yeah,
we
I hear
can't
you.
can't
I
keep
hear you.
kicking the can down the road.
But,
Risk
you
doesn't
know,
take a break.
The problem was we got to make sure that everyone was able to pay their fees. So that took a priority.
Yeah, Wayne, me and Tom spoke about it. I have your whole list and everything, so I'll be reaching out as soon as I can get my head a little bit above water so we can take a look at some of these things in person, see what we can pick off the list.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, let's move on to. I have a motion. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I'm ahead of you. You gotta wave sooner, huh? Okay, the questions from the internet.
We actually only have one, right, Susie? So Joan from 6 Wilton wanted to know, when will the windscreens be up in court 3 for pickleball? We are working on that. We are a little shorthanded right now as far as maintenance technicians. So it's on the list. We're probably going to get somebody that's going to provide us a little outside help for a couple hours to get them put up. But we will get it done shortly.
Okay, that's it. All right, so we have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye, okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you for all coming.